All right, hey guys, welcome back. We're going to go ahead and take it up a step higher in our long division process. We're going to be looking today with dividends that have either 2 or 3 digits in them, as well as your answer up here, your quotient, is going to be about 2 or 3 digits as well. Some of them will have remainders, some of them will not. Okay, but the great thing about long division is once you can master this process, you can do any long division equation. Okay, it just takes some practice. It's going to take a lot of practice to where you're comfortable, but once you get it down, you will have it, and I could do 9 digits up here and you'd be able to solve it easy as pie. Okay, so if it's a little hard for you, don't give up yet. You just need more practice. Okay, so let's try this one. Here I have 86 divided by 2. Don't forget our terms here. 86, the number under the house, is my dividend. It's what the total amounts I have. My outside number here is my divisor. That's how many groups I'm dividing it into. And then my answer up here is the quotient. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. If you remember in our last video, we talked about how does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers. Today we're going to be using all of the steps. Some students get confused and get lost in the steps. So what I would recommend, if that's you, if you know how to do it, but you start the problem and then you say, I don't know what step I'm on. Am I supposed to subtract or am I supposed to bring down? It can be helpful to use like a little marker. Just grab a paper clip, an eraser, and just move it as you do your steps. So for example, when you're on division, put it at division. After you divide, scooch it down. If you multiply, scoot your marker down. And that way, if you ever get confused, you can look here and say, oh, okay, yeah, I'm on subtraction. Subtracting. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move it up here because we're going to start with division. All right, now, so my first question I ask is, how many times can 2 go into 8? Now, if you remember in yesterday's lesson, we couldn't fit normally our digit. We normally cannot fit our divisor into that first digit, and so we would put a little X. This one is different though, because can 2 fit into 8? Yes, it can. How many times can 2 fit into 8? Or another way to say that is, what's 8 divided by 2? Another way to say it is 2 times what equals 8? And hopefully after all that you came up with 4. So it's really important here that you make sure to line up your numbers. Using graph paper can be a really, really helpful thing when you're working long division problems because it keeps everything in line. So I've only divided by the 8. That's why I put the number right over top the 8. And if you remember, technically that 8 is worth 80, right? So 80 divided by 2 is, technically that 4 is in the tens place, so it's 40. If you put the 4 over here, that's in the ones place. It's only worth 1. Okay, so make sure to line it up and divide and put it on top of the number that you actually did divide by. Okay, now my next step then is to multiply. So I always multiply, remember what's on the top, but what's on the outside of the house. So 4 times 2 is 8. Once again, line it up. We're almost totally ignoring that 6. We haven't even touched it yet. So just, if you want to, take a Post-it note, cover it up. We're not using that right now. We're just lining everything up with this 8. Okay, my next step is to subtract. 8 minus 8 is 0. Now, our new step here is to check. Make sure that this number right here is not bigger than this number. If this is bigger, let's say that this is a 2 or a 3. If it's the same as or bigger than this, you probably didn't multiply by enough or divide by enough. You probably need to take this number up 1. Okay? But if it's smaller than that, then you're good. All right? So then my next step, so I checked. Now my next step is to bring down. I'm going to bring down this 6. All right? And normally this is where everyone kind of says, oh, I don't know what to do next. Okay? You're going to start the whole process all over again. So I'm going to move this up here, and what I do is I tell students to go ahead and draw another division house here. So you remember, this is what you're going to be dividing by. And we're going to work our way, if you want to say, up the mountain. We're going to start this whole process again, but now we're going to do 6 divided by 2 is 3. So notice how I went up the mountain, dividing 6 by 2 putting my answer up here. You'll always follow that order. Then, for multiplying, you're going to go back down the mountain. Whatever you wrote up here is always what you're going to multiply by. 3 times 2 is a 6. Now, this time I'm lining it up here because the 6 is the place that I was working on. And I'm going to subtract. Okay? 6 minus 6 is 0. Double check. Do you have anything left to bring down? Is there a number over here you haven't divided by? If there's not, like this one, you finish the problem. And in this case, I have no remainder. So 86 can be divided into 2 43 times. All right, let's try another one. All right, let's try 96 divided by 3. Okay, so how many times can 3 go into 9? It can go in 3 times. Multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. Lining everything up, remember. Subtract. Double check, is this less than that? Yep, I'm good. So I've checked. Now I bring down that 6. Don't forget, this is where it's easy to forget, okay? I'm starting the whole process again. So draw a division house and start everything over again. So go up the mountain when you're dividing. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Keep your pencil there because you're going to come right back down the mountain multiplying again. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract. And once again, I have no remainder. I've got nothing left to bring down, so I finished the problem. 96 divided by 3 is 32. Okay, let's give you a practice problem, all right? I'm going to put the problem up on the board. I want you to pause the video and see if you can do it on your own, all right? This is going to be 84 divided by 4. All right, pause and see if you can get it. All right, let's see how you did. 4 will go into 8 2 times. Multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract. Bring that 4 down. 4. And then remember, draw a division house because you're going to start the whole process again. 4 divided by 4 is 1. Then go back down the mountain multiplying. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract. Check, you have nothing left, and your answer should be 21. So if you got that, great job. If you didn't, that's okay. It's still new. Go and double check, okay, what did I do wrong? And make sure you understand, look at your paper and see, how does it compare with mine? Where did your problem not look like mine? So you can work to not make that mistake again. Okay? If you did get it correct, let's move on to a little bit bigger of a problem. All right, let's go ahead and get 3 digits in that dividend. Let's do 684 divided by 2. No, actually, I'm going to start that up a little higher because this is where it gets long, and I'm going to run out of room on my board. All right, 684 divided by 2. All right, here we go. It looks bigger. It is bigger, but it's still going to be the same exact steps, okay? Don't forget, just for ease of the video, I'm not going to keep moving this every single step I do, but you may want to do that, okay? Even if I don't move it, I would always have this written to the side of my workbook page or my test or whatever I'm doing until you can get it really comfortable. All right, let's start. How many times can 2 go into 6? It can go in 3 times. Multiply. 3 times 2 is 6. Subtract. Keeping everything lined up. That is really, 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 really important. Don't try to put that 6 anywhere else. All right? 6 minus 6 is 0. Check. It's good. It's less than that. Then bring down your 8. Only bring down one number at a time. Do not bring down 84 and try to figure out, oh, 84 divided by 2 is what? That's a really big problem. Okay? I don't know about you. I'd much rather just do 8 divided by 2. So just bring down the very next number, just 1, okay? And then you remember we're at the bottom here, so we have to start all over again. Draw a division house, round your answer, and go up the mountain, dividing again. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Remember, multiply whatever you just put your pencil on. 4 times 2 is 8. Subtract. You're not done yet. You still have not divided by that 4. You can't leave that out. So we're going to bring down again. And guess what? We're going to start the process all over again. So I'm going to draw my division house, and we're going to go back up the mountain. This is why it's called long division. It's a little long to do. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Go down the mountain multiplying. 2 times 2 is 4. And subtract. And in this case, I have no remainder. Okay? So even though this is longer, it's the exact same process. You're just doing it again. Okay? This would be true if it was this number here. Okay? I would just keep bringing down, dividing, multiplying, subtract, checking, bring down the next number. It just keeps going. Okay? Let's try another one like that. All right, 578 divided by 5. Now, if you're feeling pretty comfortable with this, by all means, go ahead, pause the video, see if you can work it on your own, and then check back with me. If it's still a little hazy, then watch me do it again, okay? Here we go. 5 will go into 5 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. Okay, now my next step is to subtract and get 0. Check. Bring down my 7. Okay, 7 divided by 5. You say, wait, I can't do that, Miss Cruz. Yes, you're right. But do you remember what we did in the last video when something didn't go in an even amount of time? We said, well, how many times can 5 go into 7 without going over? In this case, 7 divided by 5, 5 can go in one time without going over 7. And then, so I'm dividing. Oh, forgot to draw my little division house. Now I'm going to multiply. 1 times 5 is 5, and I'm going to subtract. Now, in this case, I already have leftovers. This is not my remainder, though. How do I know? Because I still haven't finished dividing. I haven't finished. There's still a number up here that hasn't been brought down. Okay? If this number was not here, then that's how I know that would be my remainder, because there's nothing left to bring down. But if there is a number here, I know that's not my remainder. I have to bring it up. Now, this number is 28. It's not just 8. You can't ignore those leftovers there. That's part of the number. So now I'm going to start all over again. 28 divided by 5 is what? Well, 5 can go into 28 5 times without going over. It's not going to be an even amount again. Okay, so 28 divided by 5 is going to be 5. Go back down the mountain multiplying. 5 times 5 is 25. Then subtract, and I double check. Is there anything left over here that needs to be brought down? There's not, so that means that this is my remainder. Right? So 115 with a remainder of 3. All right, that is about all the time we have for this video. I'd encourage you, if you look at your workbook pages 197 to 198, you can get more practice with this, as well as 199 to 200 has practice with the remainders. Okay? All right, so next video we're going to step it up, even make it a little bit harder. But remember, long division can't really throw too many tricks at you because you're just always going to follow these steps. Okay? So, happy dividing. See you later.